Greetings to those who watch below. I don't know if you've seen it already, but I've now started a podcast. It's called the Dark Folklore Podcast, and it's a look into the places, people and stories in our world that show us that for our entire history, we have been creating our own dark folklore to match the world that we live in. You can find it on all your regular podcast sites and also on this channel. If you want to help support it, there is a link in the show notes. So, today's video we're going to be looking at internet monsters in order to tie in with the first episode of the Dark Folklore Podcast, which takes an in-depth look at the Rake. So, without further ado, please sit back, relax, and enjoy. The Blind Maiden. We're starting off today's video with the Blind Maiden, who is the main antagonist of a creepypasta urban legend of the same name. She is a killer spirit who kills anyone who has access to her website, blindmaiden.com. The story begins by discussing an urban legend that is being talked about in schools in Spain, featuring a website called blindmaiden.com. Our protagonist catches wind of the urban legend from a Spanish friend of his, due to it only majorly being known in Spain. Most of the time, the website seems to be offline, leaving most people unable to access it. However, the actual website can be accessed if you are alone, at night, with the lights off everywhere in your house, and if you go on there at midnight on a moonless night. With these conditions met, only then will you be able to access the site. Once inside, pictures of terrified and eyeless children are shown quickly on your computer screen before a paragraph of Spanish text is shown, which roughly translates to, "This website will take you to a whole new level of horror, a horror that will use all 5 of your senses. You must be very careful not to click on anything by accident. You will be faced with a real experience of absolute horror. Click the accept button to engage actively in the experience." Below said texts are 2 buttons, one reading accept and the other decline. The narrator telling the tale warns against clicking accept and advises strongly to click decline in order to remain safe. If you click decline, you will be rewarded with access to galleries of eyeless children, which is similar to any gore site. However, if you are brave or foolish enough to click accept, the computer screen shows the silhouette of something, presumably the Blind Maiden, walking towards your home, and then through your house to the room you are currently in. As the monitor zooms on your own back, the beast taps you on your shoulder, an obvious attempt to gain your undivided attention. If you turn around and face the phantom, the beast will kill you as she stares unblinkingly at you. Afterwards, she rips out your eyes and takes a picture of your face, so you can join the gallery of eyeless faces on her website. However, there is a possible way to cheat your way out of this spirit's wrath, as another Spanish boy claims to have accepted the challenge and lived by being knocked unconscious by being hit by their table's edge while trying to run away from the monster. While this is just a creepypasta, the monster is quite interesting in the fact that the Blind Maiden lives within a website, something that has been a hallmark of internet legends from the very start, as we'll see with our next entry. The Red Room Curse. The Red Room Curse is an early Japanese internet urban legend about a red pop-up ad which announces the forthcoming death of the person who encounters it on their computer screen. There are several variations of the Red Room Curse. According to the most common one, while browsing the internet, the victim will be presented with a red pop-up with black text saying, "Do you like?" After trying to close it, the pop-up will reappear. This time, the text says, "Do you like the Red Room?" Then, the screen will turn red, displaying a list of names of the Red Room's victims. The target will sense a mysterious presence behind them, after which they will lose consciousness. Later, they will be found dead in their home, the walls of the room in which they are discovered painted red with blood. In the late 1990s, a Japanese interactive Adobe Flash horror animation, considered to be the origin of the Red Room curse, was uploaded to GeoCities. It told the story of a young boy who was cursed and died after seeing the pop-up. The legend of the curse gained notoriety in 2004 due to the Sasebo slashing. On June 1, 2004, an 11-year-old schoolgirl, known as Girl A, murdered her 12-year-old classmate, Satomi Mitarai, in an empty classroom during the lunch hour at a Kobu elementary school in Sasebo, Nagasaki Prefecture. Girl A returned to her classroom, her clothes covered in blood. The girl's teacher, who had noticed that both girls were missing, stumbled upon the body and called the police. After being taken into custody, Girl A reportedly confessed to the crime, saying, "I'm sorry," over and over to the police officers. She spent the night at the station, often crying and refusing to eat or drink. The girl initially mentioned no motive for the killing. However, shortly afterwards, she confessed to police that she had quarrelled as a result of messages left on the internet. Girl A claimed that Mitari had slandered her by commenting on her weight and calling her a goody-goody. On September 15, 2004, a Japanese family court ruled to institutionalize Girl A, putting aside her young age due to the severity of the crime. She was sent to a reformatory for 2 years involuntary commitment, but this sentence was extended by a further 2 years in 2006 following a psychological evaluation. On May 29, 2008, local authorities announced that they did not seek an additional sentence and Girl A was released. This case has been cited in support of the controversial game brain theory, which has been criticised as pseudoscience. Girl A was reported to be a fan of the Red Room curse animation, having the video bookmarked on her computer at the time of the murder. She had also reportedly read Battle Royale and seen its film adaptation. The webpage in question is currently inaccessible using conventional methods due to the discontinuation of GeoCities and Adobe Flash. This could mean that the Red Room curse has finally been broken. Our next story also deals with another early internet curse, this time in the form of a demonic entity known simply as Zalgo. Zalgo is an internet meme that started in 2004. It is an entity which corrupts webcomics so that they become dark, warped and twisted versions of themselves. Zalgo is a chaotic evil entity commonly associated with madness, death, destruction, fear, and the end of the world as we know it. It is an entity that lives in another dimensional plane, and when it appears in ours, it creates chaos. Its mere presence is capable of taking a person towards the vortex of madness. Simply put, Zalgo is horror incarnate. No matter how much you search on the internet, you will never find a clear answer about what Zalgo is, because there is no such thing. Since Zalgo is something so terrible, there are no words to describe it. At most, you will find the following description. He waits behind the wall, in a palace of tortured glass, served by legions formed from the tears of the dead without rest, clad in armour carved from the suffering of mothers. He is the hive mind that confounds the living and perpetuates the torture of the damned. He takes the eyes, the window to the soul, and removes the ability to feel anything but pain. Once the eyes are removed, the soul is removed. The living shell is the testimony of cruelty and eternal damnation. He cannot be stopped, just as fear cannot be stopped. It is inseparable from reality, as it exists beyond the veil, waiting. He waits behind the thin wall that he has built in his soul. He waits, but he has to free himself, and he has come. He is an eyeless abomination with 7 mouths. In his right hand he holds a dead star, and in his left hand he holds the candle, whose light is shadow and is stained with the blood of Amdega. 6 of his mouths speak in different languages. When the time comes, the 7th will sing the song that will end the earth. Zalgo was created on July 27, 2004, in the Something Awful forums, when its creator, a user called Goon Schmorky, published a series of old cartoons by Nancy and Archie, but these were highly modified and bizarre. The characters acted erratically, insanely, constantly invoking an entity known as Zalgo, who caused monstrous deformations in their body. Zalgo went unnoticed on the Something Awful forums until a user named Bobby Deluxe created edited versions of the webcomic Control-Alt-Delete. Zalgo became more widespread among users of the website beta.com who photoshopped real-life comics such as Garfield, Charlie Brown and others. He also jumped to 4chan where new cartoons were created, retouched with Photoshop. The images follow a similar pattern. Any image is taken and is retouched to make it as chaotic and demonic as possible. Gore elements are widely welcomed. The most seen details are crying black or empty eyes, blood, darkness, backgrounds and atmospheres in reddish tones, and tentacles of shadow. Zalgo's limit is his imagination. The idea of him has spread across the internet, a true meme, a meme that is shrouded in darkness and insanity. As I mentioned, Zalgo has found a home in 4chan. Our next creature was also created on the very same site, the Unwanted Houseguest or Shadow Lurker. The Shadow Lurker, also known as the Unwanted Houseguest, is a creepypasta internet monster created by Ben Duff. The character originated in an image macro series featuring a pencil sketch of a creepy ghost-like figure with large sunken eyes and a malicious smile. The overlaid text generally contains micro-narratives referring to creepy and disturbing situations and mental images. A common motif used throughout these captions are stories or imagery that would keep one awake at night, such as the fear of having to use the bathroom in the dark, having your feet exposed from the blanket, or hearing creaking noises outside of your bedroom door. The drawing of this creature was originally posted on June 28, 2011 to 4chan's B-board, where it generated over 200 image replies with captions placed over the original work. This entity also spawned several creepypasta stories about it, including one called The Invitation. Have you ever had the feeling you were being watched? There are about 1 billion people on the planet, but there's something about this person that just isn't right. There are, however, ways to communicate with these things watching you. First, it must be specifically 11:59, 1 minute before midnight. Light a blood red candle in front of a mirror. This will be their entrance to the world. Then, there are 2 things you must do. Say, "Who are you?" and I invite you to my sanctuary. Be warned, as some spirits are deceiving. If they say anything troublesome, you can just quit and try again. No harm done. When you ask the being, it will tell you a name and number. Write these down. After such, you will need to draw blood onto the candle. Just a drop of it is needed. The flame will turn blue and a figure will appear. It will always be frightening at first, but you'll feel a change once you become acquainted with the figure. It will ask you its name and his number. If you get either wrong, it will slit your throat and leave you for dead. If you get both right, it will ask you one wish. Choose wisely. For example, asking for intelligence will reduce you to a very weak physical state, but you will be so smart you will rival the likes of Einstein and Hawking. Choose strength and you'll be mentally feeble for the rest of your days. Choose money and you will become incredibly obese. Choose love and you will never be able to be with someone ever again if something happens to the person you love. Afterwards, blow out the candle and go to sleep. The next morning, your wish will be granted. However, as stated, there is always a catch. If you want to kill somebody, it will require the death of a loved one. Choosing riches means you will always be alone and cold-hearted. Choosing love will cause you to become dangerously obsessed with the person. Just be careful for the Shadow Lurker. He watches you. If you don't wish for anything, you will die in your sleep. He is the only one with a real form, a ghastly face. If you encounter him, you must bow down to him. He'll give you immunity to all disease, strength, money, looks, smarts, and love. Our final internet-created monster today is arguably one of the newest. This is the cartoon cat. The cartoon cat originated from an image posted online by horror artist Trevor Henderson, also known as Slimy Swamp Ghost, on August 4th, 2018. In the image, we see the view of an unknown abandoned building, looking at a doorway with a creature resembling a cartoon dog from the 1930s, all black in colour, with a rubber hose-like appearance. The image was captioned, "They're just like your favourite cartoons," which suggests that this dog is one of many entities like Cartoon Cat, or simply another form that the creature takes. Then, on August 10th, a second image was released to the public, captioned, "What they found in the dirt mall." The image shows the inside of a run-down shopping centre, with a full-body view of Cartoon Cat approaching the camera. This is the first image of Cartoon Cat in his most recognisable form, with an all-black body, round head, cartoonish features, and a lack of feet or a tail. Then, just 5 days later on August 15th, a third image was posted of the creature, with the caption, "All the classics are coming back," featuring Cartoon Cat standing in a crossroad in the middle of the night. The picture looks to be taken from inside of a vehicle, with the headlights being the only light source illuminating the Cartoon Cat. Although because of its height, only the legs and arms are visible, along with the cat's head hanging down to the ground off to the side of its long, rubber hose-like neck. This is the only image so far that shows a creature with visible feet, which are simply shoe-like in appearance, with no toes. On August 22nd, a fourth picture was released, captioned, "For you anon." This image was another full-body view of Cartoon Cat standing in front of an abandoned building, mouth wide open and swaying, once again lacking feet. On September 26th, a very disturbing picture of Cartoon Cat was posted, showing the creature standing in what looks like someone's house. The creature is much smaller here than in his previous images, but still taller than an average human being, with much larger teeth and large lips and gums in a terrible condition. On October 10th, the Cartoon Cat fact sheet was released, showing a close-up of Cartoon Cat reaching out towards the viewer with a huge grin full of yellowed teeth dripping with blood, once again either due to a victim or bleeding gums. Beneath this picture is some text that apparently lists some facts about this mysterious entity, although most of it has been redacted. Some of the less obscure text reads, "Often found in redacted, abandoned redacted. Redacted show from 1939. Incredibly cruel." And is thought to be redacted. This suggests that Cartoon Cat is based on or probably came from an old cartoon from 1939, much like the popular indie game Bendy and the Ink Machine. More information about Cartoon Cat can be found in Trevor's replies to people's questions on his Tumblr. In these, he states that Cartoon Cat is the most dangerous monster in his portfolio. He also states that Cartoon Cat is dangerous, so much so that other monsters and creatures alike avoid the mysterious dirt mall that is his lair as much as they can, if they know what's good for them. When asked why Cartoon Cat poses such a threat, Trevor simply replies, "Unchecked limitations." Cartoon Cat has been featured in a lot of popular media on YouTube, gameplay videos, and short animation stories. However, he still remains mysterious, and that's all we really know of him. How will this internet monster evolve over the next few years and potentially even decades as our trends and fears develop? One thing is for certain is that this will not be the last created internet monster. The very next one might already be here, just waiting to pop up. Hi guys, thank you so much for listening to today's video. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you haven't, please make sure you check out the Dark Folklore Podcast to learn more about another internet monster, the Rake. Also, the next episode will be coming out very soon, and it's a spirited one, shall we say. Any ideas for what it might be? Let me know in the comments below. So, until next time, sleep tight.